follow me outside into the
Welcome back to the Wild Rose Moon's Moonlight series featuring the talent that surrounds us all. Tonight we have Doug Hammond joining us along with our host John Baylor. I am Ryan Meir, and off we go into the Moonlight.
Well, hello. Thank you for joining us for Moonlight. I'm John Baylor, and I got a man sitting next to me that's been coming to our open mics here at Wild Rose Moon for several years, and really, I don't know if lighting the place up is quite the right word, because it's a lower emotion than that, but Doug Hammond is just a very accomplished guitar player, great finger picker, and just got a beautiful tone on that guitar, but gets just this wonderful precision with his work. And I'd like to open with talking about your guitar playing a little bit, but I think if we're going to do that, then we ought to let him hear just a little bit. So can you just play us a few bars that show off the Doug Hammond style on the guitar?
Sure. Nothing all that impressive, but
Very nice.
So I guess I'll first start with the simple question. Tell us a little bit about that guitar.
this guitar actually is kind of special to me. So when I first started playing, I had one of those really bad department store guitars where you spend most of your time bleeding from your fingertips before you actually learn to play the instrument, because they're about an inch off the fretboard. But after my mom saw that I was serious about it, she took me to, I think it was Woodwind Brasswind at the time, the big place they had out there. And we kind of picked this one out as a next level for me. And I've honestly been playing it ever since. I have an Alvarez too that I kind of switch back and forth with, but this one's pretty special to me because I've been playing it since I was about 13. Added pickups to it, but other than that,
Yeah, and what's the brand on it?
it's a Washburn.
Yeah, it's got a very nice sound to it. When did you start playing guitar?
I was about, I think 12 or 13 when I started with that first guitar. And I think I had always really loved, like I grew up listening to Simon and Garfunkel, Cat Stevens, James Taylor. I always loved those. But I think Green Day's song Good Riddance, Time of Your Life was really big when I was in kind of that age to be hearing it. And I think that was the inspiration. That was the first song I wanted to play, at which point I realized that, I did all this studying online to try to learn how to read tabs before I had the instrument. Well, I didn't realize I was reading it upside down, so it sounded really bad at first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I continued playing from there through the basic stuffs I did, mostly self-taught through books. I tried a couple of different teachers. Some of them we were at the wrong point in our journey because I had passed their level. And then there was a teacher I had for a while in my teenage years that kind of brought me into modal music, the Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, all that stuff where I could learn scale patterns and things. Other than that, I haven't really progressed a whole lot in my guitar playing. I just kind of try to add my own flavor to it, but I think I realized a long time ago that I don't do real well with solos or anything real virtuoso, so I just kind of use it as an aid to songwriting now.
So have your goals as a guitar player changed since you started?
I think so, definitely. I use the guitar more now to express what I'm trying to do lyrically or vocally or just overall in a piece of music, but I don't really do much to impress because that doesn't always work out very well for me. I try to expand my horizons a little bit where I can, read on music theory sometimes and try to steal like the little like to the A minor, like just little tiny things, nothing very complicated, but just using nuances to help the storytelling, really.
Yeah. Yeah, there's you never run out of things that you can steal.
Yeah.
So when did you get into performing on the guitar?
Um, Honestly, as with most skills I've learned in my life, I kept it hidden away for a long, long time. Trying to think the first time I actually performed. I did a few instrumentals at high school variety shows, but that was like my one thing I did during that time. I played a song at my wedding. Other than that, I kind of kept it bottled up until, I'd been writing songs when I was, I don't know, starting 18 or 19. I started writing songs with lyrics to them. I think by the time I was in my late 20s and in a very long-lived retail career at that point, I wanted to be able to have an outlet for some of those songs. So I went to a couple of open mics. The first ones I went to were in kind of a bar setting, so it was a little bit discouraging. So I kind of crept back from that for a while. But then I came to the Moon, and it was the listening room atmosphere, and it was a room full of people that were there to hear original music, and that's kind of where I took off from there. This is still really the only place I've played. But yeah, that's kind of where I started performing more regularly.
So you mentioned you kept it hidden for a long time, but you also said that was what you do with a lot of your skills, is keep that hidden. And I grabbed onto that when you said it, just because seems like that's a theme that shows up in a lot of the songs that we're going to hear from you. And I guess rather than try to dig into any of that too much, maybe we ought to just move into a song right now, and hear that guitar singing.
Okay, all right. So I guess I'll start with the song Static. Do I need to introduce it or anything?
If you got anything you want to say, then sure, go ahead.
It's kind of a word salad, honestly. I think it has a greater theme to it. It kind of came at a time when I was changing my songwriting style. I released an album, and it was all in an altered tuning, and I was I sang more quietly than I even do now, which is hard to do. But it was kind of a turning point for a different kind of song for me, and I think the song kind of reflects that in its somewhat aimlessness. But I can't see beyond my skewed trajectory. I no longer feel my feet. I planted seeds and I am waiting patiently. I know not what I will see. I can't feel beyond my senseless apathy. I fall in rank among the meek. I eat and drink up here to function normally, but there is static underneath. Saturated words, dripping with the weight of our endeavors. We thought we were so clever. Syncopated suffering, can't find a reason for the rhythm, let alone the rhyme. I can't think beyond my bruised autonomy. There are other voices underneath. They wake and sleep with me and see the dreams I keep. They're always looking where I leap. Words converging like some senseless alchemy. Never the ones that I seek. Sticks and stones have broken almost all my bones, but it's the verses that make me weak. Saturated words, dripping with the weight of our endeavors. We thought we were so clever. Syncopated suffering, can't find a reason for the rhythm,
let alone the rhyme. I draw these lines to pass the time. Below the fog where they are mine. And when it clears I will be sure of the static underneath. Saturated words, dripping with the weight of our endeavors. We thought we were so clever. Syncopated suffering, can't find a reason for the rhythm, let alone the rhyme. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. You said you called it word salad, but at the same time, it's obviously a song that's important to you, and you said it represents a turning point for you. What is that turning point?
I think the turning point is sort of my ongoing struggle to hone the craft of songwriting. I've always been impressed by, like, John, when you'd come to open mic, you'd always have your notebook. You'd be like, I'm working on this song, this song. You're skilled at it, and you've worked at that. I struggle to find a pattern and a rhythm to it. I'll go for very long dry spells, and I'll write a lot of things that I feel like just I end up throwing away. So I think a lot of it is the aimlessness in that. Can't see beyond my skewed trajectory as me not seeing the better songwriter that I'm hoping to be. Not really sure what that goal is. And I think it kind of probably is an overarching state on just general confusion and the static of just being, and trying to emote things in whether it be songwriting or just regular life.
Yeah, I was actually surprised you go towards songwriting, because when I hear the song, there are just such fundamental questions in it about who am I and what am I trying to do, which that can apply to songwriting very well.
Yeah.
But it does seem like I say, those are just the basic questions of life.
Yeah, and that's I guess the songwriting aspect is what I try to place a value on for it. But when I picked that song, I didn't think too far into it. And I was like, oh, crud, they're going to ask me questions. And a lot of these songs, if the first line comes, that first line kind of dictates, and I just get to sort of co-write the song with whatever lyrics come out. And there's some songs that I don't ever quite figure out what I was trying to say. So yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways to interpret that one that I haven't actually taken the time to stop and figure out. I've honestly had that song on the shelf for probably 3 years, and I started playing it the other night. My wife's like, "Well, you should play that one." I was like, oh, "Okay, I kind of like that." And then I got to thinking, I'm like, "Oh, they're gonna ask me what that's about."
Well, can you put your finger on why you started playing that one again?
Sometimes when I put a song away for a while, I've written a lot of songs that I just declare dead sometimes, and I sort of put them in a song cemetery, and then I just go put flowers on the grave every once in a while. But sometimes when I pick it back up, it hits me a certain way, or it feels better, or like maybe I've done something different with a guitar, or vocally I feel like maybe I've come along further and can represent it better. And so I kind of pick it up again and make a zombie song out of it.
Yeah. Now, I won't bug you too much about explaining the meaning of it. There's only one thing I wanted to ask about, and that's, we get this image of the static underneath. Then there's also voices underneath, but you go back to that idea of static underneath.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part I'm really curious about. What are you getting at? What is underneath?
I don't know. I think that maybe part of the song is trying to explore that, or see what maybe I have underneath that I can bring out or bring forward. I'm a very reserved person. This is the most talking I usually do on a daily basis. I'm kind of a clam. So I think a lot of it probably harks to that I keep a lot of things very hidden and, in the middle of mist and fog, and kind of wanting to bring that forward, or trying to jeer myself to bring it forward.
Yeah, and it sounds like not just hidden from others in the sense of being a clam, but hidden from yourself as well.
Yeah.
I'll read through the first line of that, the first two lines as it is on the page you gave me. I can't see beyond my skewed trajectory. I no longer feel my feet. And it's you're trying to wrestle with identity, but also with purpose, I suppose, with your goals that you have in life. And those are questions, those fundamental questions that come up over and over again in the songs that you write. Who am I, and what am I doing? When I hear your guitar playing, I sort of have that same sense that you're asking those same kind of questions in your playing. Who am I? What am I doing? Where should I go with myself? What is your experience of sitting down at home playing the guitar?
It's my one relaxation thing in the day. I like to sit on the back porch. My wife and I will sit out there in the evenings, and I'll just play and kind of see what comes out. Sometimes we sing together and we play, old songs. We're both fans of the same kind of era of music, and then sometimes if something presents itself, excuse me, I'll make a note of it or see if I can fit some lyric to it. But yeah, it's an exploration. I like to see where the first couple of bars of something will take me, or where I can maybe take it or shape it.
Mm-hmm. Do you have? I guess what I not that I don't like your answer, but I suppose I'm trying to get to an emotional experience. Do you feel like you're finding something about yourself that you can't find in other ways through playing guitar?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I definitely think it's an outlet for vocalizing, not really vocalizing, I guess that's not the word, but letting things out that maybe I can't figure out how to say or emote in some other way. I can strum and I can pick and I can get an emotion out of the notes. So yeah, definitely, I think that's an outlet in that sense too.
Mm-hmm. I asked about your early experience on the guitar, but I think probably before you decided you wanted to go for that there's something about music that's pulling on you before. So what are some of your early defining experiences with music?
Yeah, my mother and father were both big fans of music. Most of the things that one that listened to, the other was at least a passing fan of, and they had some similar interests like Gordon Lightfoot, Cat Stevens, Simon and Garfunkel. I remember being a kid and hearing those albums over and over, and as a kid you're like, oh, this is lame, but it goes into you, and I was like, well, by the time I was 8, I think I really liked Cat Stevens. But my mom was always very supportive of music. She wasn't musical herself. She would get kits that you'd build at home of like bowed psalteries and all sorts of little folk instruments. She liked to keep those around, and I tinker on those. She supported me going into band, played the clarinet through high school. She got the guitar for me. So she was very nurturing of music, because I think she, not even being a musician, she just understood the importance of it and the emotional outlet of it. And the same thing with my father. I mean, he wasn't as much into music, but I think he appreciated music, and I think it was important to him in its own way.
Right. And as parents, part of that is, I think, understanding what music is for you. The influences that you mention are they're all people that are known for their songwriting. They're all people that fingerpicked on the guitar as well. Gordon Lightfoot in particular was just a songwriting hero for me when I was young, and probably more than anybody else, he was one person that I tried to be like as a songwriter. There were other people that I liked and I would draw things from them, but he was like the goal for me. And I think I just want to jump over to hear another song from you. I guess if you've got another a songwriting hero in that same way, then you can go ahead and share us. But if not, then we'll jump into some of your own songwriting here.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, they all kind of share a place for me as far as songwriting, because I think they all touch on slightly different things. But yeah, Gordon Lightfoot especially, he's very prolific and very impressive. I've always loved Gordon Lightfoot, and that was, I think, one of my mom and dad's favorites that they kind of shared together. So yeah, that's very important to me.
Yeah. Well, let's hear a little bit of your work as a songwriter.
All right. This song is called Leap of Faith. It's just kind of about trying to figure out what you want. Yeah, I do touch on the same theme a lot, don't I? I'm really good at the woe is me thing.
Those questions just keep bugging you, I think.
Right? Yeah. I'll figure it out one of these days, and then I
Yeah.
won't have any songs to write.
Well, no, you'll figure out part of it, but there are enough answers that I think there'll be more songs.
A leap of faith is just a lie, one that you tell yourself to get by. To get by sadness on the rise, always it finds a fresh disguise. To tell the truth is but to hide from the lies you used to get higher. And to be direct is but to slight verity, you know, is an unclean fight. And if you knew what you wanted, you'd probably die of fright. And if you caught what you were hunting, you'd probably cry all night. The test of time is not a right, it's something you earn by staying alive, by turning stones and breaking bones and laying down when your skin turns cold. I have seen my children cry, and I've seen my elders' fading eyes. 'Cause every day is just a night, patiently waiting to die. And if you knew what you wanted, you'd probably die of fright. And if you caught what you were hunting, you'd probably cry all night. You knew what you wanted, you'd probably die of fright. And if you caught what you were hunting, you'd probably cry all night. You'd probably cry all night. Probably cry all night.
Nice.
Yeah, really nice, and Beautiful playing as usual. This song, it sounds like, well, I'll read the first couple lines of this one as well and then make the comment. A leap of faith is just a lie, one that you tell yourself to get by. And throughout, especially through that first verse, it sounds like someone who's kind of jaded. There's something that he's giving up on. Is this another turning point in your life, this song?
No, I don't so much think so. I think it's an acceptance of not living from moment or event to event. I think looking back at writing this song, it's kind of about, you think you need X, Y, and Z to be complete as a person or complete in your career or whatever that end goal is. But that leap of faith you're taking to get there, it's just something that you're using to try to move forward until you have a new X, Y, and Z goal. And it's just kind of the acceptance of we're here, so accept it, grow as a person in real time. Don't base your life on goals, because doing that will eventually let you down.
Yeah. So then the questions in the chorus, if you knew what you wanted, you'd probably die of fright. What are the goals that are frightening to you then?
I guess getting what you want. Quite honestly, if you reach that goal, if you've reached the peak or the pinnacle of whatever it is you're looking at, career-wise or say as a songwriter or something like that, then what is there left to look for? What's that next point that you can aim for? I feel like it would be scary in a lot of ways to hit the end wall where you've got what you wanted. So now what?
Mm-hmm. We'll get you back on here for a couple more songs in just a bit, and a half hour will come on for episode 2. And want to thank you before we get out of here for joining us. Thank you for the music. Thank you for digging into those questions that your music asks.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for having me.
Before we go, I got to say, Doug, if it's going to sound cool, I forgot how much I liked hearing you play. Like, I haven't heard you for so long.
I know, right?
And like most good musicians, you undercut yourself because the way you play, it just, I don't know, man. It's very beautiful. You're unique and so clean that I was like, man, I just want to hear more. We'll hear more. So I'm glad you're going to be back in a little bit. We can hear more of your stuff.
Thank you.
Glad to hear you again. Another episode of Moonlight. We will be back in about a half hour with more from Doug Hammond and John Baylor. Got to mention our sponsors to help make all this possible. We got the Gibson Foundation, Gibson Insurance, Marshall County Community Foundation, Marshall County Tourism, and the Encore Performing Arts Center. Behind the scenes, we have George Schricker, John Baylor, Howard Gibb, Matt Bergmoser, Jennifer Reed, and myself, Ryan Meir. If you want to help out the Moon, you can go to wildrosemoon.com and support us there by donating or becoming a member. We'll see you in a bit. Thank you.